Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker's 2020 budget address is now in the books.
In today's speech, the governor proposed spending roughly $42 billion in the next fiscal year. Capitol Bureau Chief Mike Militich attended today's address and brings us the details.
Mark and Victoria, you may be familiar with Charles Dickens' classic A Tale of Two Cities. Well, some today believe the governor's proposal is a tale of two budgets. There's one that actually has financial figures that we could see, and the other is theoretical figures that would only be possible if voters approve his graduated income tax come November. Pritzker says his graduated income tax could be a bridge to fairness.
These rates would go into effect only if Illinois removes the constitutional prohibition on a graduated tax, a decision that will be made by voters in November. If the constitutional amendment is passed, those rates will go into effect January 1st, 2021, midway through our budget year.
The governor says he's prepared to have a balanced budget with or without the graduated income tax. For example, Pritzker says he wants to increase evidence-based funding for schools by $350 million. But in reality, his plan would only distribute $200 million to schools and hold on to the leftover $150 million in case the graduated income tax isn't passed. Republicans are skeptical.
It's not reasonable to include in a budget plan revenue that comes from a hypothetical tax increase that has not yet passed voters.
The governor's proposal will put $100 million into the state's rainy day fund over the next 16 months.
Whatever we can do, no matter what the amount may be, to save for a rainy day fund down the road, I think that makes good financial sense.
Lawmakers say they are happy to hear about significant investments in areas of health care and pension obligations, but Republicans feel the governor is only focused on spending.
It's also important to be realistic about the problems we're facing and not try to just gloss over the fact that we have major fiscal problems in the state that will not be addressed by more taxes and more spending.
House Republican leader Jim Durkin says he is willing to work across the aisle to have a balanced budget by the end of this spring, but he says both sides have to agree there will be no new taxes added by the end of the year. For now, reporting live in Springfield, Illinois, Mike Militich, News 3.
Our local lawmakers were not very happy with today's budget address. State Senator Paul Schimpf said, during this period of unprecedented economic expansion, we must seize the opportunity to get control of our spending and get our fiscal house in order. He went on to say, sadly, Governor Pritzker is instead advocating an unbalanced budget with $1.6 billion in new spending that will only make our situation worse. He says this is not the way forward.